Hello everyone and welcome to the University of Maryville Hockey Center here in Chesterfield, Missouri. I'm Todd Panula and I'm here to bring you all of tonight's exciting ACHA action between the University of Maryville and the SIUE Cougars. Later on this year, I'm going to be joined by Eric Skelton on the broadcast, but we're still trying to work out the kinks on that. So for tonight, I'm going to be flying solo. Eric is going to have your intermission reports on Facebook Live, so make sure to tune in to Maryville's Facebook channel for that. You see the two teams coming out on the ice as Maryville has the light show going, things dimmed with some lamps over there by the entrance, trying to fancy things up here a little bit going into this second year in program history. Looking at these two teams as they get ready to play each other for the fifth time in their existence. SIUE comes in having won all 4 games last season, so it should be an interesting bit of play between these two squads in terms of the two teams having players that have come back. So will there be any kind of revenge factor going for either side? But one of the big things for both squads is there's been a lot of turnover, a lot of new faces on both teams. So is that even going to play into this, the fact that there is history between these two clubs? From SIUE's point of view, they lost 2 of their top 5 leading scorers, including their leading scorer, Andrew Bond, who had 29 goals and 48 points last season. The Maryville Saints will have basically not an entire new starting lineup, but they're going to have a lot of new faces out on the ice, as they will have 4 of their 6 players starting tonight will be brand new to this program. So as they're about to kick off with the national anthem, we will step aside just for a moment, and when we come back, we'll have your puck drop. So the anthems are out of the way. Let's get you your starting lineups for this evening. So your starters going to be for SIUE. In goal, it's going to be Justin Nasser. Out on the ice, it's going to be Joe Watson, Christian Perry, Kane Henson, Chris Wagner, and Lucas Tucker. Coming up for the starters on the home team, the Maryville Saints, starting in goal is going to be Johnny Massara, and out on the ice, it is going to be the top line on the forward side, Anthony Stavro, TJ Prexler, Damian Coringi, and guarding the blue line is Nate Simpson and Jim Hunter. They've dropped the puck, and Maryville opens things up with this first game on home ice with possession, but that was fleeting as SIUE will take control. Cougars unable to get it out of the zone. Cycling around to the far side was Henson. Picked up along the half wall, and then the cross-ice pass finds the stick of Perry. He thought about taking a shot, but he's pushed into the wall by Hunter. In behind the cage is a shot taken on the backhand. Rebound chance, and that goes wide as Massara denied the first one, and then the rebound just went wide. Maryville trying to clear it out of their own zone. Unsuccessful in doing so on the first attempt. And now here comes Stavro. Brings it over towards the right. Karinji dropped it off to Prexler. Karinji looking for the return pass. Nothing doing there as that just avoided his stick. SIUE trying to get things going on the offensive end themselves. Entry pass was denied by the big man on the blue line, Kubanik. In behind the goal, cycled back towards the near side by Tommy Stephen. Picked up there by Bonnet. To the far side now, looking rink wide, just underneath Stephen, and this will be an icing call. 18:41 left to go here in the first period. No score. Both teams going back and forth with possession, trying to get this game kind of opened up just a little bit. Not quite a minute and a half played. Off the face-off, Maryville unable to clear. They do on a second attempt, but this one going to go the length of the ice, and we'll have their second icing call in a row. Not too happy on the back end is Cole Bonnet. He thought there was a deflection on the way down, or at the very least that one of the Cougars could have played it, but not going to win that argument. 18:28 left to go here in the first period. First game in this brand new building here for the Division I Saints. It was a preseason exhibition game between the St. Louis Junior Blues and the Maryville Division II team. That one didn't go very well for the Saints. A 7-0 decision in favor of the Junior Blues. But the first time here under the bright lights for the Division I Saints. Just escaping the grasp of Vigors as he's attacking at the blue line. Cougars get it through the neutral zone. Sending it in on the attack is LaRose. Trickles into the corner, but the Saints take it there. Stephen with a great pass. Now it's 2-on-1. Shot taken and a pad save. Juliuson looking to go 5-hole and just put a little too much on it. Connected with the pad. Massara saucers it up. Now it's loose along the circle. Juliuson backhands it up the zone. And now escaping is Mudra. He lost control right at the red line. Saints have it back in their own zone. Almost 3 minutes played here. Chopping at it for the Cougars was Zerline. He only gets it up towards the attacking blue line. Not much further. Delayed offsides. Now they wave it off. Cougars under pressure. SIUE bringing it up through their own zone. Pass towards the near side wall. Ricochets high. Intercepted by Pruitt as he chips one into the corner. His numerical counterpart Henson sends it back towards the end line. That one evades the stick of Ford, and the Saints just dump it in. Maryville rolls the line change with 16:40 left to go here in the first. Slowing it up behind his own goal, and now the exit pass will evade the stick of Henson. Back the other way. Transition game for both teams. Coming in now for the Cougars is Perry. He punches one into the corner, intending to get on to Watson. He's in a battle there with Simpson. Simpson able to chip it back towards the wall. Dueling for it now is Harrison. He comes up empty-handed. Alvegren sends it down the ice. This one on goal. And we'll get a whistle with the stoppage. 16:09 left to go here, first period.
Don't say the scores when you're talking.
In the corner now, it's Karinji cycling it back behind the net, trying to get it out in front of the slot. Karinji held the zone, but only for a moment. Now back the other way, Watson looking to put one out in front, dangerously into the slot, but too many defenders there. Maryville able to avoid the danger, at least for the moment. Perry has to kind of cycle back after it got caught up in between the legs. Good check in behind the play as Bonnet takes his man to the wall. This pass too far behind Karinji. He uses his speed to get in behind the defender, but coming out to play it was Nasser. Holding it in along the far side, MacArthur. Into the corner. Cougars pick it up. Cycled back around towards the far side. Sperry has it for the Cougars. Backhanded up through the neutral zone. Possession hard to come by for both teams. Bad angle chance from Karinji. A little bit dangerous there. It seemed like a innocuous shot, but Nasser didn't know too much about it after it kind of hit him, and the officials were somewhat slow with the whistle. Boudreau can't win the faceoff, so the Cougars look for an escape route. Good check, wins it back. Trying to get it into the slot for Steven, but perhaps Boudreau would have been wiser to take the shot himself. Both players chopping at it in behind the net. Cougars come up with it, but get it no further than the corner. Along the half wall, Simon punctures this one all the way up towards the blue line, but pinching in was Turner, and he'll hold. Now Boudreau behind the net towards the far side to the circle. The shot deflected. It's loose. Rebound! Nasser able to hold on. He didn't know anything about where that was, but all he needed to be was in position, and he was. Good offensive flurry there from the Saints. Couple spin shots. Boudreau with the last touch in on it, but just couldn't find the hole. Slap shot from the blue line goes wide as Hunter sent one in. Far circle picked up by Marshall, but he had his stick lifted. Now a tight angle chance coming in again, and Nasser out to make the save. The Saints buzzing here. Another good opportunity for Jens Juliuson. Juliuson won the faceoff but pushed it forward, so the Cougars took possession. Juliuson trying to pick the pocket, as is Mudra. Both of them come up empty-handed. A third attempt, this time punched away by Juliuson. In behind the Cougars net, bringing it over towards the near circle, loose along the neutral zone, and then chopped back the other way. The escape route denied. This one goes the length of the ice, but the near side linesman says no icing. Just about 13 and a half minutes to go here in the first period of a scoreless game. Juliuson puts that one just out of the reach of Mudra. All the way back into the near side corner. Hunter has it there, absorbs the hit. Ratcheted back to the near side by Simpson. Off the midsection of Purabat and back into the Maryville zone. Off the dashers, near side Hunter. Goes rink wide, Juliuson. Skates it over the center logo. Brings it near wing. Shot coming and a blocker save. Rebound, score! The Saints take the lead. The rebound put in by Kyle Dunaville. So Dunville with the goal at 7:04 of the first period. Back to the circle, trying to get into the slot. Instead, it's Kubanek back at the top of the circle. Glides all the way into the corner as the Saints looking for more. Dunville was set up deep, but he couldn't field the pass as it didn't quite get on target. Massara all the way out of his goal, plays it back into the near side corner. Perry was waiting, but Massara able to lift it up high enough to get it just around. Saints get it out of the zone. Taken by the Cougars in neutral ice. Off the dashers, looking to get it into the offensive zone. Too strong there for Tucker. He pushes his man in towards the corner. Cycled on towards the near side. Perry has it there, drops it to the point now. Wagner wanted to take the shot. That one goes wide. In behind the goal, it's loose along the cage, and then Massara is able to cover it up. Clock stopped with 11:53 left to go here in the first period. Saints out shooting the Cougars 5-2, outscoring them 1-0. They get it out through the neutral zone, but the Cougars take possession. Deflected puck ends up behind the goal. Cougars trying to set something up. Good forecheck put on by Stavro. Cougars break out of it. Bringing it in is Sperry. In behind the goal, put it out in front. He had two Cougars there, and he split his options. Kept alive. Wagner couldn't hold it in a second time. Diving after it was Karinji on the attacking side of the blue line. Stavro ends it winning possession in behind the net. Carries in. Defenders sent it away. Hops over the stick of MacArthur. And he tried to put it back in, but it had escaped the zone, so it'll be offside. Cougars get into the attacking zone after nobody really took possession off the draw. Saints trying to get in transition. Good little tap pass from Steven. Finds Vigors. Steven goes to the net. Puck never got there. This one goes the length of the ice, and it'll be an icing call. Both teams with a lot of jump here in the first period. Had some good flow throughout this contest so far as well. SIUE cycles it back towards the far side. Intercepted by Boudreau from the far wing. Leaves it along the circle for Vigors. Vigors looking out in front. Instead goes to Steven. Out in front. Goes all the way to the blue line. Deflected shot ends up just wide. And now they're going to say it was touched with a high stick. So a neutral zone face-off between Juliuson and Zerline. The far side assistant says it was taken unfairly, so they'll do it all over again. And in the meantime, Maryville going to change their defensive pair. Face-off won by Mudra, ratcheted high off the glass by Kubanik. Juliuson in the corner, tried to push it back for Pruitt. Pruitt, now Mudra from the circle, trying to cut in towards the slot, but just too many red jerseys. Maryville in the whites with the red. Red with black and white trim for SIUE. Just a little over 9.5 left to go here in the period. Saints up by 1. Cougars hold the zone, only briefly though, swatting at it, chopping at it. Finally the Saints able to clear. Delayed penalty, and the Saints are going to have their first power play of the game. Tripping is the call. And as he goes to pick up his stick, it looks like Drew LaRose is going to be the man in the sin bin. with 9.5 left to go here in the first. So we'll get our first look at a revamped Saints power play. If you've been listening to the Dog Pound podcast, which is available on just about all the Saints hockey social media outlets, that was one thing that Coach Hogan said that was kind of a focus throughout the offseason, is they wanted to try some new things and have more success on the power play. It's kind of become a staple in today's game that special teams really can make or break a squad. We saw the St. Louis Blues manage to win the Stanley Cup without a solid power play in the 2019 playoffs, but ultimately it didn't end up costing them in the end. Cougars cleared after winning the faceoff, so the Saints will set things up from behind their own goal. Time ticket away on this power play, though. They've already lost 20 seconds. Coming in on the far side, Cougars able to steal it there, standing them up at the blue line. So far, not so great for the Saints power plays. Zone entries not necessarily as crisp as you would like. Coming over the red line, they'll play a little dump and chase. This time they're going to go for the offensive zone face-off as they force the goaltender to freeze things up. So Dunville, his goal is the difference. His first goal of the season. First goal as a member of the Saints. Maryville wins the draw. Karinji has it towards the blue line. Juliuson trying to hold the zone. Karinji the same. Perry able to come out with it. Shorthanded opportunity now for the Cougars, and Juliuson comes back to save the day. MacArthur looks up ice here on the near wing, and he'll just ratchet one around. Picked up by Karinji over along the blue line. He gives it up to MacArthur. MacArthur backhands it towards the circle. Into the corner now for Mudra. Half wall and out of the point. MacArthur, the shot deflected by Harrison, and a good save. MacArthur couldn't hold it in, trying to deny a shorthanded opportunity, and he did so. Otherwise, it would have been Perry off to the races. Mudra gives it up to Karinji, and he'll slow things up. MacArthur from the far side point. Wrist pass to Juliuson, and his shot was blocked. Juliuson from the near side half wall. Gets it down low. Mudra all the way out. Karinji shoots just wide. Good hop off the glass right to Juliuson. MacArthur straightaway point. Juliuson far side. Karinji. MacArthur with the shot. Looking for Harrison again. He didn't get the touch, and that was an easier save. Right out of the box and trying to streak out Sperry. He was denied. Almost too many men there. Juliuson wisely didn't play that puck and just went straight to the bench. High off the glass, gets it out to the neutral zone. Good bounce here for the Saints. Coming in now is Dunville. He hits the crossbar. He thought it was number 2 and an inch lower, and it would have been. Good open ice check, but an offside call against the Saints as it just escaped the blue line. And it was that close to 2 goals for Maryville and Kyle Dunville. Chopped into the zone by Hunter after the Saints won the faceoff. Cougars have it in the far side corner. Intercepted along the far circle, taken there by Gagan. Delayed offsides, settled in behind the Cougars' goal. Nasser plays it over towards the near side. Far corner now. Henson up the wall, through the neutral zone, all the way to the Saints' blue line, but they take control. Blasted back in by Alvagran. In the neutral zone, Takmajian intercepted, back the other way we go. Prexler looking out in front, cycled back towards the near side. Now they shoot, and it's blocked. glorious opportunity there for Anthony Stavro, but it wouldn't go. Karinji muscles off his man, but then his drop pass was too hot for Stavro. In behind the goal. Daly has it for the Cougars. Gets it up towards the blue line, but gives up possession. Back the other way. Here comes Daly, but he's all by himself. The shot in, and that's an easy one for Massara. He will cover it up as he had one of the Cougars driving right in towards net. Saints out shooting SIUE 10-3. They were very close to a 2-goal lead. Karinji using the speed, turning on the afterburners, but couldn't get through the defense. No icing here. Bonnet trying to give it over to Kubanek. And now we'll get a whistle and a stoppage in play. Both teams rolling the line change. Just under 5.5 to go here in the first period. Boudreau and Zerline in the circle. Boudreau able to win it as they stood toe-to-toe. Looking back out in front and hitting the cage was Perry. In behind his own goal, MacArthur looks up ice. That one goes off the heels of Vigors. They will reset. Dump and chase here for the Cougars, but the Saints have it. Tic-tac-toe passing. Not necessarily as crisp as you might like. Comes over here towards the near side. Now skating in with purpose is Turner. He took a shot. That was blocked. Vigors picks up the loose puck and hammers it in behind the goal. Boudreau gives chase. Cycled back the other way by the Cougars. SIUE gets it up the zone, and now they'll get it out. On the stick of Ford. Give and go, but he peels off, and the shot went wide. Interesting decision. Obviously, if you're tired, you have to get off the ice, but it seemed like they had a bit of a break going there. Just a bit over 4 minutes left to go. Good punch off the zone towards Mudra. He's pushed towards the wall. Watson trying to muscle him off as well. Backhanded pass towards the near side. Hunter wants to take the shot off the far pad, looking for the rebound. Julius and Mudra. It's covered up. Referee lost sight of it just long enough to blow the whistle. Cougars win the face-off. Just a little over 3.5 left to go here in the first period. Perry brings it in, gets around the defender. Still on his stick, takes the shot. It actually deflected off the skate of the defender and went in towards goal. Massara in good position in the end. It's been a solid contest for both teams. Obviously, Maryville with the better of the offensive side. And that was something we didn't necessarily know how well it would go. We saw a lot of good effort in the first year of the program last year, but not necessarily so much on the finishing side. Right now, though, only one goal up on the board. They have managed to get some shots through, and that's half the battle, especially when you get those nerves and excitement and the butterflies and everything, getting your first game out of the way. Intercepted in the neutral zone. Kubanek gave it right back. Cougars have it along the far wing, trying to punch it out of their own zone. Stick swatting at it, but the Cougars get it into the offensive end. Massara slows it up. He's not going to freeze it, though. Kubanek was calling for it. Now he receives it after Bonnet got it to him on the backhand. Rolls in below the end line. Delayed offside, so not an opportunity to forecheck for the Saints. Far wing. Shot taken by Henson. That one blocked and out of play. Chance to escape just out of the reach of Alvegren. Gets it up towards the red line. Harrison can't get it any further. Now Alvegren from the far side to the near circle. Dunville trying to get around his man, but just getting a skate onto it was Henson. Henson in behind his own goal. Lifted puck all the way down the ice, and we'll get an icing call. Back to touch it was Turner. Just a little over 2 minutes left to go here in the first period. Offensive zone face-off coming up for the Saints. It's going to be Prexler, Stavro, and Karinji out on the ice. Cougars win the draw. Penalty upcoming. Frozen puck after it got in towards the crease. Now we get a little bit of extracurricular activity, and here we see some of that bad blood boiling up. We mentioned there's a lot of new faces for both of these teams, but as a program, I think both of them know that this is kind of building up towards something that could be a good rivalry in the future. Referee waving a lot of players away. Already into the box is Corey Sperry for the Cougars. Also going into the sin bin is going to be Anthony Stavrow for the Saints. So we'll see if things even up, because there was an initial penalty that was going to be called against SIUE, and the extra man now going in for the Cougars is going to be Blake Tekmajian. Haven't seen a second player yet go in for Maryville, so it looks like the Saints will escape that little fracas and still end up with a power play. Almost a battle royale as everybody was kind of joining in. Long gone are the days where you could have everybody run off the bench and get involved in that, and probably for the best, but can't say that it wasn't entertaining in a certain way. But obviously fighting in general is not allowed in collegiate hockey. So the officials trying to get everything sorted out. Do have a four-man crew here. That is another difference between the Division I and Division II levels. Last season, usually it was a three-man crew with one man on the stripes and two guarding the blue lines. Now we get two assistants and two officials. So the initial call is going to be the one that goes against Corey Sperry. He's the one up on the scoreboard. That's the penalty that will give Maryville their second power play of the game. 0 for 1 with the man advantage so far. Harrison in the face-off circle. He'll go against Watson. Harrison wins it. MacArthur at the point. Glides along the blue line. Sets up straight away. Now Juliuson just outside the circle. MacArthur goes far side. Karinji has it. Going rink wide. Glove down by Juliuson. Into the corner now. Mudra trying to go high, and it's off the shoulder. Mudra keeps it alive. Off the defender. Chopping at it. Loose along the side of the goal, and Nasser will cover it up. Only 3 seconds divide the game clock and the power play clock. So if the Saints do not score, the power play will end before the period. Prexler calling out some instructions there, letting his defenders know where they need to be in case he wins this face-off. Watson in once again for the Cougars. He wins it, comes over here towards the near side, but the Saints have it. To Steven at the point. Steven straight away. He's got a shooting lane, takes it, but it was gobbled up. Coming over to make the block was Wagner. Saints hold it in, far circle, looking to get out in front, in between the wickets of Vigors, and he couldn't get it from in between his skates. Cougars clear the length of the ice. Vigors leaves it off for Steven. Rink wide, but that's too far behind Prexler. He's tied up by Perry, right in front of the Saints bench. Simpson in behind his own goal. Near side for Steven, glides through the circle, cuts back in and behind the net, all the way towards the far corner. Forgot the puck, but luckily he had a teammate there. Steven cuts back, hands it off to Vigors. Straightaway point Simpson. He didn't have a shot available. Now the shot from Simpson. That one denied. Steven holds the zone, at least for a moment. Now he pushes it back in offside. 12 seconds left to go here in the power play. Cougars in possession. Delayed offside, allowed no forecheck, so time ticking away off the clock. Hops over the stick of Steven. Perry pushed away, but he retains possession. Keeping it away, and that will do it. 20 minutes are in the books. Nothing decided yet, but the Saints have the advantage as they go into the break with a 1-0 lead. The goal scored back at 7:04. Kyle Dunville with the score, and it's 1-0 heading into intermission. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have your second period of action, but make sure to tune over to our Facebook Live page as Eric Skelton will have your first period interview. Back with more in just a bit. Welcome back to the Maryville University Hockey Center. Just about set for second period action between the Maryville Saints and the SIUE Cougars. A good first period for both teams. Obviously, the Saints will come out after that first 20 minutes a little more pleased as they had the lone goal in that first frame. That one coming off the stick of Kyle Dunville, with the goal coming back at 7:04 of the first period, punching home a rebound as there was a bit of a mix-up and a scrum right in front of the crease, and Dunville was able to find the puck and just get it past the goaltender. He would almost get his second goal of the game not long after that, probably about 5 minutes or so, when he took a shot from just outside the right circle, and he was going upper 90 across the body of the goaltender. But unfortunately for him, that was met with nothing but iron and no net to be had. So the Saints get things going with a bouncing puck into the offensive zone in the first 10 seconds of the second frame. A tie up in the corner and coming away with it. A shot taken and a glove save. Oh, baby. Justin Nasser coming away, robbing his man. And then it's off the crossbar, off the stick of Alvegran. The Saints really buzzing here, and now we'll get a whistle and our first penalty of the game against Maryville. Coach Hogan not going to be too pleased with that one, as it's an offensive zone penalty.
We're gonna have this blocked off tomorrow.
And it's going to be Kyle Dunville, the goal scorer, going into the sin bin. So he gets called for the trip here along the near side, and it's going to be a Cougars power play. So the Cougars set things up off the draw, getting it into the corner. Perry along the half wall, fans on the pass. Kept in the zone though, rink wide. The shot taken, that was blocked. Unable to pick up the rebound was Tucker. Now it's with Henson. He gets it down low to Tucker. Surveys the ice and out to the point for Rowe. Now Perry with a shot. Getting in front of that one was Bonnet. Back to Henson along the half wall to the point. Rowe thought about taking a shot. Now it comes in from Henson, and that's over the goal. At the blue line, Rowe to the circle. Near side, it's Perry. The shot comes in, and the save was made by Massara. I want to thank everybody for watching this evening, especially our fans all the way down in Australia. There's a good contingent of Sydney Bears fans watching to see Tommy Stephen play this evening. So a special shout out to all those Aussies down watching this hockey game. Hopefully getting a kick out of this one so far with Stephen's team up by a goal. Still 50 seconds left on the Cougars power play, but they have to push the reset button back in neutral ice. Cougars all the way back to their defensive zone as they set things up. Crossing the red line, and Henson gets it in the attacking zone, but shoveled back the other way by Simpson. Shorthanded opportunity now. Stavro pulls it back towards the end line, but kind of lost his edge. Back out in front, Stavro, it's trickling and then poked away. It just wouldn't quite go. Simpson back at his own blue line. 15 seconds left on the power play. Cougars gain the zone. Watson from the far circle backhands it in as they will roll the line change and just kind of allow the Saints to kill some more time here. MacArthur ties it up along the boards. He's sandwiched in along the wall. Back to 5-on-5 action. Wagner held it in along the blue line, but not for long. Stavro gets it up. Skating it in is Pruitt. Near side, Harrison couldn't get it along the stick cleanly. Shot from the point, somewhat fanned on by Hunter. Still kept alive though. Harrison to Stavro. Great stick handling. Hunter thought about taking a shot. Harrison picked up the loose puck. He takes a drive. That one's blocked as well. Long stretch pass, just barely off the stick. At least it looked like it, but apparently not, because icing is the call, and there wasn't much of an argument put up by Corey Sperry. So the puck will come all the way back down to our left. If you're watching, if you're just listening, you'll just have to take my word for it. 16:45 left to go here in the second. 1-0 in favor of Maryville. Juliuson can't come up with the win on the draw, but the Saints still have the puck. Shot in off the post. Bonnet keeps it alive, gates it all the way into the corner. Pruitt, he took a shot all the way on. That one got all the way through, but Nasser makes the save. So the face-off will come to the right of goal, to the left on your screen. Mudra wins it, pushes it forward, but the Cougars collect. Juliuson sticks out a skate, holds it in. Mudra from the corner, backhand chance, just missed. And he shoveled it a little too high, and it goes out of play. The official saying that it went off the shoulder of the goaltender, so the puck will stay in the zone for the face-off. Saints put out some fresh players, as do the Cougars. Boudreau wins it. Far side point, shot came in just wide of the goal, trying to poke it in along the short side, nothing there. Boudreau trying to do the same. Rebound, oh, sticking out the pad is Nasser. It was right there, as was Steven, but Nasser coming up big with the left pad. Gliding along the end boards, backhanded back to the half wall. Steven in behind the goal, trying a wraparound, save made to the point. The shot comes in, blocked. Second opportunity, put back out in front. Boudreau couldn't steer it on goal. Harrison puts it in front. Steven is denied. If that puck settles down, Steven probably has a goal, but it just kind of ricocheted off the heel of his stick initially, and that split second was enough to allow Justin Nasser to get in position to make that stop. Saints win the face-off. Puck comes towards the far point. Held in by Hunter to the circle. Shot just over the bar. There was a player for Maryville tripped up in front. No call coming. Out the other way. Tucker brings it in on the near side. Throwing a body into him was Simpson. Tucker still has the puck, but not for long as it's taken away by Alvegren. Alvegren skates it through the neutral zone. Dumped in, picked up by Dunville. Here's Harrison. Now Simpson, shot blocked from the point. This one will go the length of the ice, and it will be an icing call. Just over 5 minutes left to go, or excuse me, just over 5 minutes played here in the second period. It's been a dominating showing on the offensive end for Maryville. Out shooting their opponent 20-8, but only one goal to show for it. Watson ties up his man along the end boards. That's TJ Prexler. Squirted towards the near side for Karinji, but he couldn't quite pick it up. Now Prexler in front, shoots, glove save. Prexler was in pretty tight, so he didn't have too much in the way of space, but he still put it in a good shot. Nasser was up to the challenge as Stavro is down on one knee. Prexler wins the draw. Shot comes in. Score! Cole Mudra from the far circle, right off the face-off. And Nasser didn't have a prayer. So the Saints with a 2-0 lead. They go to the point. The shot comes in from Kubanek. Rebound just pushed wide as Mudra was looking for his second. Kept alive by Bonnet, but safely into the glove of one of the Cougars. Skating up the near side is Rowe. He'll take a shot and a good block by Bonnet. Back the other way. Transition game. 2-0. Prexler gives it over. Coringi score! So Damian Coringi scores at 6:09 to make it 3-0 Saints. And you can definitely see that this team so far is quite a bit different from the one that we saw last year. Last year was a lot about effort and building that foundation. And right now they have taken a large jump in terms of pure skill and speed, as we saw it on display there. A 2-0 break. Prexler set it up. Coringi with the finish. Cougars come up with the puck off the neutral zone face-off, trying to get it into the zone, and unsuccessful there was Simon. Back the other way we go, but possession given right back. Harrison trying to put on the forecheck, held in along the blue line by Simpson. Now a backhanded chance by Alvegren. Rebound, chopping, poking, puck still loose. And finally it squirts out. MacArthur all the way back in his own zone. Rink wide. Just about 7 minutes played here, in behind the defender. And an open ice check there by MacArthur as he took down Sperry. Dunville throwing his weight around as well. 3-on-2, the Saints are in, the shot comes in, and a slapper from Pruitt is gloved. So Caleb Curie looks like he's warming up over in the bench for the SIUE Cougars. Nasser perhaps would feel a little hard done if he was removed from this game, but it's one of those situations where perhaps just looking for a spark for their team. Nick Edwards looking for anything right now, as it's been all Saints here. Just about halfway through this game. Far circle, shot came in from Juliuson. That's whistled wide. Simpson at the near side point. Juliuson came all the way over into the corner, picked it up, lost possession as it just slipped off the toe. Back out towards the blue line and pushed right back deeper. Simpson carries it in behind his own goal. Just about 8 minutes played here. Dangerous there from Simpson as he almost gave it up in behind his own net. Near side for Juliuson. He skates it over the center logo and then ratchets one off the boards. Henson avoids the check, comes up with the puck. Perry just backhanded blindly up towards the blue line. Saints have it along the near side. Lost in the neutral zone. Punched back the other way. Not far enough for icing. The Energy palpable here in this new building. That one takes an odd hop off one of the partitions, back out towards the middle of the ice. Intercepted now, Juliuson from the circle, put back out in front. Defender got a piece of it, and then fanning on the shot attempt was Pruitt. Again, no icing here. Bonnet will have to pick it up. He had Ebersold putting on the pressure as he tried to throw the body check. Puck bouncing around all over along the far boards. Kubanek has it. Juliuson near side half wall, way up towards the ceiling. And the ceiling's a little bit taller than we had last year at the Afton Ice rink, but still not that tall, as that one will force a face-off inside the Saints zone. Once again, want to thank all you fans for watching, whether you're watching from the St. Louis area or Southern Illinois, or all points around the world, as we've got Australia definitely covered. Perhaps some Canadian fans watching as well, as there's several Canadians on this team. Some players from Sweden as well. So world travelers right now for the Maryville Saints. They lead by 3. Down towards the end line, they score! Tommy Stephen stuck out his stick. He looked to be the last one to get a touch in on it. We'll see if they give him credit for it. It might have gone off the goaltender's stick. So it really just kind of depends on who got the last touch for the Saints. With the goal coming at 9:28. So both teams going to switch up their goaltenders. Curry comes in for the Cougars. And Ed Coffey in for the Maryville Saints. So new players in net for both teams. Saints with a commanding 4-0 lead as Prexler carries into the corner. Tried a dump pass there, but nobody home. So Stephen, the Australian, so his fans definitely happy. Not necessarily the way they drew it up, and that's not how you draw it up either. A lucky deflected puck went right onto the stick of Marshall, and he was able to put it into basically empty net as Coffey thought the puck was going to continue onto the far side. So the first goal of the game for the Cougars as they break the shutout, coming at 9:55. Alec Marshall will get the score. 4-1 now. It's still a 3-goal lead. The 4-goal advantage didn't last long for Maryville. In behind the goal, just out of the reach of Curie. Bad angle chance all the way from the wall. Didn't go very far off the stick of Algergan. This one will go far enough for icing. So the whistle goes, and we'll have a face-off all the way down in the Cougars zone. Saints fans, make sure you tune in tomorrow evening as the Maryville hockey program will have its official home opener against the University of Iowa. Puck drop on that one scheduled for 7:15, and then we will have a second game of the weekend against the Iowa Hawkeyes coming up at 5 o'clock on Saturday. So we hope we'll tune in for those games as well. Juliuson sends it back to the point. Hard pass, difficult to handle, but done so by Hunter. His shot ended up bouncing wide. Transition opportunity was too hard for Tekmajian. Into the near side corner, played up by Hunter, taken by Juliuson. He cycles one through. Now on to the offensive end for Pruitt. His offensive chance was denied by a defensive stick. Pruitt, his shot was deflected. It got all the way through to Curie. He snapped the pad shut. Gagan looking for Pruitt. He was tied up. Simon sends it the other way for the Cougars. Juliuson doing a good job to hold it in as we have had a little bit of a swap in some of the line combinations. Juliuson from the far circle. Now the slot takes a shot and a blocker save into the near side corner. Simpson sets it up. Pruitt was spun around. Cougars have it, lose it. Still in behind the net though. Pruitt just had to avoid his skate. Rebound out in front after the shot came in. Good chance from Hunter from the far side. That one awkwardly handled by Coffey, as it's been a rather inauspicious start for him, allowing the first goal of the game and having that one kind of deflect as he was going for what seemed like an easy handle. This one whistles off the iron. An absolute blast from the far side from Boudreau. Took a couple deflections on the way through and ends up into the netting. Straightaway point for Bonnet. That one swatted away as the puck went into the slot. Boudreau tried to put it out in front. Vigors was heading towards the center of the ice. Back the other way we go with Henson looking. Cross-ice pass. Kubanek. Some of the Cougars fans thought there was a tripping call to be had there. The officials do not agree. Henson kicks it out of the zone, but Boudreau is there. Vigors tried to backhand it into the zone. Steven threw a check, almost was a little bit late. Kubanek to Bonnet, in behind his own goal. Comes over towards the near side, slowed up by Steven. Swats at it, but the defender got there first. Kubanek heads to the bench, not allowing the Cougars to set things up. Here's Coffey. Nice little touch pass to Bonnet. And that one just escapes Mudra, so that'll go for an icing call. 7:09 left to go here in the period. 4-1 your score. Saints ran out to a 4-0 lead before the Cougars would get somewhat of a fortuitous bounce, and it would settle right onto the stick of Marshall. Coffey thought the puck was going all the way around, and instead it ended up in the back of his net before he could even react. Good forecheck, won by Mudra. The Cougars able to steal it back. Eversole crosses the attacking line, backhanded back the other way by the Saints. Mudra skating in on the near side, far side Karinji. Prexler score! The Prexler-Karinji connection is fire right now. So similar to how Karinji's goal was scored, but a little further out, a little more mustard on the shot as well. TJ Prexler with his first goal of the season. Right now, 5 goals on the board, 5 different goal scorers for the Saints. Backhanded up the wall by Kyle Culleberg, intercepted. Prexler, Mudra, shot, save, rebound, trying a backhand chance, but Karinji just elects to hold on. Straightaway point, shot comes in from Turner, and that's denied. So the goal coming at 13-17. Cougars trying to escape their own zone, bringing it up through the middle. Chance to break in. Shot comes in, that's easily wide. Karinji picks up the loose change, leaves it for Harrison. Turner heads up ice, far wing. Carries around 2 defenders and then lifts one into the zone. Heads off on line change. Just about 15 minutes played here in the period. Onto the offensive end, Sperry. Saucers one into the corner. He's tied up by Simpson. Kick pass Finds Simon, but still tied up along the wall. An escape route seen by Tekmajian, but he had his puck taken away. Back the other way we go with Alvegren. He gets around his man. Alvegren, the shot. Rebound was there for Harrison, but swept away by that last defender. Blind backhand pass, finds his man as Hunter pushes it up towards the attack. Alvegren has it there. Shot coming in from Dunville. The rebound was there. Harrison swatting at it. Hunter came in from the point as well, and none of them got the shot all the way through to the goal. 4:25 left to go here in the second period of a 5-1 Saints leading game. Now the shot from Bonnet didn't get all the way through. Held in at the point. Simpson puts it towards goal, deflected by Gagan. Backhanded up and over. Juliuson, good little touch pass. Back out in front. Juliuson from the hash marks. Rink wide, Bonnet all the way up from the defensive side. His shot might have actually been blocked by Gagan. 2-on-1 attack. Here comes Perry. He's going to take the shot and a blocker save. Coffey just fills up so much of that net, standing at 6-6. Sperry with another chance. Perry this time. That got all the way through, but wide. Juliuson backhands it out of the zone just to kind of push the reset button, allow his team to catch their breath. Henson crosses the Maryville M. Bonnet picks it up for the Saints. Pushes Watson off the puck. And we'll have an offside call against the Cougars.
We apologize for the store brewing bug. We figured it out. Say that. We're going to do that in the goal. Never know.
Kicked at by Vigors after the Saints won the face-off. Backhanded back the other direction by Zerline. MacArthur had it tipped in by Boudreau, and then Curry kind of got it caught up between the wickets. Want to apologize for any technical difficulties we've been having. Still trying to get all the bugs worked out of the system. But the game on the ice hasn't had any bugs, at least if you're a Maryville fan. Steven takes a shot, took a couple deflections on the way through. Curry ended up having it go off the cuff of his glove. Steven with another chance, and he was smushed by two defenders. MacArthur blasts it back the other way. Steven touches up, but the Cougars have possession in the near corner. 2.5 left to go in the second period. Vigors hammers it below the end line, just out of the reach of Steven. Picked up by Culleberg. He puts it back in behind the cage, and then finally sent out of the zone. Eversolt on the forecheck, joined by Ford. Turner gets away with it. Skating out is Boudreau, crosses center ice and the blue line, still on his stick. Tried to saucer one in towards the circle and back the other way. Daly crosses the attacking blue line, looks towards the far circle, nothing doing there. MacArthur wrists one up towards the near wing, picked up instead by the wrong colored teammate. MacArthur lifts it back the other way, too far for Karinji, but no icing as it's on goal. 90 seconds left to go here in the period. Stolen away from Simpson, a chance to get on the attack for Marshall, looking for his second goal. He got it across instead. Not sure if that was intended as a pass. It worked out, but there wasn't a shot to be had. Just got word that Anthony Stavro is out for the rest of this game. Hopefully nothing too serious. Watson gets it in close to goal. Coffey able to deny him on the doorstep, but there's going to be a penalty called against the Saints. No word on what would have happened to Stavro, but Nevertheless, that is the reason why there was a bit of a mix-up, a change-up, if you will, in some of the line combinations. We'll keep an eye on his status for tomorrow's game and the rest of this weekend. Straightaway point on the power play. Rowe has it for the Cougars all the way into the far side corner. Tucker has it in behind for Watson. Cycles it back out in front. Perry from the right wing. Watson shot. Left pad save. Puck loose and sent down the ice. Good job defensively. As that one sent all the way down by Spencer Turner, the lone returning player along the blue line from last year's Saints squad. And interestingly enough, more often than not, Turner was actually a forward. Harrison able to spin that one away after that was dangerously right in the slot and then the crease. Couple shots got in, if you want to call them that. Now Bonnet, his shot deflected. And the puck went out of play before the clock ran out, but I think they're just going to allow the time on this period to end. So the teams will head off to their respective locker rooms, and a lot to like right now about the Saints game. The Cougars looking a little bit frustrated. Their body language not necessarily giving up at all, but not necessarily the way they would have envisioned this going after 40 minutes of play. We'll take a break. Make sure to tune in to the Facebook Live here in just a few minutes as Eric Skelton will have your second intermission report. Back with more and our third period in just a bit. Welcome back to the Maryville University Hockey Center in Chesterfield, Missouri. Just about set for third period action. The score after 2 periods of play is Maryville 5, SIUE 1. Let's recap the scoring in that second period. It would be the Maryville Saints getting things going with Cole Mudra scoring at 5:34. They would add a goal just seconds later at 6:09 with a 2-on-0 goal scored by Damian Karinji, finished off after a nice setup by TJ Prexler. The favor would be returned, but we'll get to that momentarily. The next goal would come at 9:28. It was a tip-in goal by Tommy Steven as it went off of his stick, off the goaltender's stick, through the 5-hole and in, just trickling over the goal line for his first goal of the season. And then the last goal for Maryville was scored at 13:17. Another odd man break. This time Prexler would get the finish on a setup by Karinji. Again, that one coming at 13:17. His shot coming from the right circle. The lone goal for SIUE coming at 9:55. Alec Marshall getting the goal there. It was a puck that was intended to go all the way around. Marshall just happened to be kind of standing behind the net. The puck settled right onto his stick. The newly inserted goaltender, Ed Coffey, had made his way around to the far post, thinking the puck was going to be over in that far corner. Instead, it was Marshall who had an easy empty net stuff. So that is how we've gotten to this place. The extra goal scored in the first period came at 7:04. Kyle Dunville scoring on a rebound goal. Just a minute played here in the third period. 4-goal difference. Deflected puck tied up here along the near side. Saints have it, trying an exit pass. That one denied. The shot was blocked by Sperry as he was actually intending to get a deflection and got too much of it. Now a slap shot, and acting like that was nothing is Ed Coffey. He was down in the butterfly, I think, before that shot even came in. And that one was easily gloved down in the end. So Coffey finally seems to have settled down in the crease a little bit as he was a little bit shaken up, I think, as any goaltender would be with an easy goal going against you on that initial chance. Now we get the Saints holding it in. Kubanek with a shot from the blue line. That one denied. Kubanek had it tipped through the wickets. Last touch by Takmajian for SIUE. Bonnet off the wall. Kubanek off the near side dashers. Up the wall comes Mudra into the attacking zone. Shrugs off the check. Prexler the shot. Gets his own rebound. And all of it denied by Caleb Curie. Curie didn't get the start here tonight, but he was the goaltender of note last year, at least in terms of returning players. He finished 10-9 last season with a 4.10 goals against. Saints have it at the blue line. Now the shot comes in, deflected, score! What a setup, what a finish, Jared Viggers. Now the puck came over from the near side wall. Viggers was sliding in through the slot, stuck out his stick and deflected it into the upper portion of the goal. Absolutely no chance for Curie.
50-cent drinks in the long run.
Collision in behind the Saints goal. Another one there as Simpson taken to the wall in return for taking forward into the boards. Backhanded up towards the blue line. Picked up by Zerline as he skates it back. just out of the reach of Ebersold as the Cougars have it deep inside their own zone. That one took an odd hop off the boards and into the netting. So we'll have a center ice face-off coming up. So Viggers with the goal at 2:13 of the third period, increases his team's lead to 5. Off the draw, Turner has it at his own blue line, too strong for Stevens. Turner has it again as the Cougars tried to dump. Steven at his own blue line, little touch pass up the zone. Here comes Boudreau, slows it up along the circle. Saucers one behind the net for Viggers, too strong, but MacArthur gets to it. Viggers picks it up, near side, bad angle shot. Oh, toe save made. Looked like it was going to be somewhat of a harmless chance, and it ended up almost going in. Bodies flying everywhere here in the neutral zone. A shot whistles wide just past Coffey. Out of the reach of Culleberg, so he has to go all the way back to try to pick this one up. Culleberg up the wall, too strong for Perry. Bonnet high off the glass, just a little far behind Steven. Back off the glass we go. Puck tied up along the near side boards. Too strong for Gagan. Back to pick it up now is Philip Culleberg. So Kyle the forward, Philip the defender. Rink wide pass behind Watson. Kubanek had his legs swept out from behind him, and that's going to draw the ire of the official. Perry touches it, and we're going to get a tripping call. The Saints back to the power play. So a 5-on-4 attack as Perry goes into the sin bin. Saints win the draw. MacArthur at the point. Juliuson as they play catch. MacArthur straight away. Juliuson gets it down low. Give and go with Boudreau. MacArthur again takes a slap shot, blocked. Karinji puts it out in front. McCarthy back at the blue line. Juliuson here from the near side. Fakes out the defender. Karinji pulls it back out. Juliuson from the dot. Mudra along the hash marks. Goes for the upper 90 and right into the webbing. Curie sticking up the trapper confidently. Not quite 5 minutes played here in the third period. Juliuson sends it back, gets it along the half wall. MacArthur straightaway point. Juliuson steps towards goal. Down low for Mudra. Goes cross ice, but Harrison was tied up. Karinji, Mudra fans. Juliuson from the slot. Shot blocked into the far corner. Harrison gives chase, chops it, bounces eye off the glass. Mudra below the end line. MacArthur at the point, skates along the line and gives it up. Juliuson from the top of the circle, hands it off for Mudra. He gets it into the slot, lost the handle. Now Karinji, slap pass, finds a defender, shot in, save made by Curie as he denied Karinji on the doorstep. Saints on the power play for another 37 seconds. Commanding 5-goal lead. Prexler in the face-off circle. Stevens has it. Gives it off to Simpson. Prexler, Simpson along the blue line. Steven to the far circle. Prexler tied up on the pass. He's able to get away from pressure though. Simpson at the blue line. Wrist shot on. Puck loose. And the whistle went. The official acknowledging that the whistle came a little bit early, but he didn't have much in the way of choice as he lost sight of the puck. And from his viewpoint, coming from that far side, I think he thought the puck had gone into the goalkeeper's glove. Puck loose in below the end line. Somebody's lost a glove. That's the goaltender. Of all people, you don't normally see that. Curie without his trapper. 13:30 left to go here in the period. Power play is over. Boudreau gets it in the offensive zone, hands it off for Steven, but just went off the toe of his stick. Boudreau gets it back. Now finds a little bit of space. Bad angle chance. Swatted at the rebound. Steven lifted the stick of Daly and eventually comes up with the puck, although not quite when he intended. Over to the far wall. Ford pushes it towards goal, and Coffey will just send it down the ice. This one will be icing, so we'll have a stoppage with just over 7 minutes played. An astonishing turnaround from last year's team in terms of offensive output, not only in terms of goals, but there are 40 shots. The Saints have really taken it to their opponent here in this evening's game. And it's been interesting how this game has progressed, because really if you look at the first period and how that one unfolded, the Saints had the better of the chances. They outnumbered their opponent 10-3 in terms of shots after that first period. But it was a situation where SIUE was getting the puck into the offensive zone and kind of creating a little bit here and there. They just couldn't get the shots on through. But then in the second period, it seemed like once Maryville scored, they just really put a chokehold on this game. A sleeper hold, if you will. All the way up towards the neutral zone, wristed back into the attacking end by Zerline. In for Ford on the corner. Ebersold now with possession. MacArthur chases it down for the Saints as he's hammered to the glass. Held in at the blue line by Culleberg. He almost trips up his man as Alvegren goes the other way. Hard into the slot. Give it up. Harrison shoots just wide. Players diving around along the end line. Still MacArthur, the shot. That goes into the corner and hard off the dashers. Kept alive by Turner, and that's an easy blocker save. Harrison tries to put it back out in front. Dunville has it swatted away, and Ford goes off to the races. He'll send one in towards goal, and Coffey will glove it up.
Jack Harrison brought over with
Offensive zone face-off coming up for the Cougars. They win the draw. Shot in, blocked, and out of play. Wagner took the drive. Thought he could sneak that one through, but just too many bodies. Juliuson tried to chop that one out of the zone. Second attempt was successful. Back and forth, a hot potato in the neutral zone. Puck still bouncing around, finally settles down. Picked up by Bonnet, all the way back for Kubanek. Kubanek up over the M at the center line. Too strong for Gagan. Kubanek back for Gagan. This time they connect. Far side now for Juliuson. Gagan into the corner. Slides it back towards the blue line. Bonnet going to take the slap shot. That got through. Rebound was there, and they whiff. Bonnet lined him up. And luckily for Wagner, he picked his head up at the last time. Also, Bonnet took a little bit off of that checking attempt. Otherwise, that was going to be bad news. Our producer, Drew Kahn, like to send a shout out Sam Martino's way. He turns 50 today, so happy birthday. Onto the near side. Bryce Simon carries it all the way into the corner and then leaves it along the wall for Sperry. Penalty upcoming, and it's going to be a second power play attempt for the Cougars.
The biggest Blues fans out there, Sam Martino. Make sure to say that.
So Sam Martino, one of the biggest Blues fans out there. Obviously, he got an early birthday present earlier this summer, late spring, however you want to think about it. And now he's getting to watch an entertaining hockey game here this evening as well. So the penalty called against Cole Bonnet. Coach Hogan getting a little bit of an explanation, as he didn't necessarily see it eye to eye with the officials, but not looking too demonstrative, just kind of wanting to know what they saw. 10 minutes and change left to go here in the third period. 6-1 your score. Cougars win the draw and set it up along the half wall. Off the dashers and now to the circle. Shot comes in and Coffey makes the save, denying Bryce Simon. Not too much time ticked off the clock there. 8 seconds to be exact. This time the Saints win the draw and they hammer it up the boards, but not out of the zone. Held in along the blue line by Kyle Cullerberg. He sends it up the wall, just out of the reach of Sperry. Simpson sends it around the wall and again not out. Wagner keeps it alive. Sperry down below the end line. Simpson lifts his stick. Simpson does the same to Simon, still not out. Shot comes in, Coffey saw it all the way. There was a rebound briefly, but Coffey able to smother it up. So many bad jokes available to a broadcaster when you have somebody named Ed Coffey.
He's a big Hawks fan. He's my coach from last year. He's like in his 40s, but we make fun of him because he's so old.
We'll try to hold off on some of those, although I can't guarantee throughout the year that there's not going to be something mentioned about that. Anyway, puck comes out towards the blue line. Turner does a good job to hold it in. Gagan on the forecheck. Mudra joins him. Cougars break out. Perry into the high slot. Left circle. Puts it back out in front, but diving to make the stop was Gagan. This one the length of the ice. Cougars still on the power play for another 40 seconds. Watson thought about putting it back towards the blue line. This one up and over. Cougars push the reset button. 25 seconds left on SIUE's power play. Skating it in right up the gut. Dropped back by Rowe. Walking the line. Perry with the shot. That one scraped the face of the crease. Rowe couldn't hold it in. Perry goes off on a line change. That'll just about do it. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Now we get a whistle. And a stoppage because the penalty box door remained open. So with the puck in the neutral zone when the whistle was blown, we'll have a face-off at the center line. Daly had his pocket pick, and Steven takes it the other way. Vigors saucers one in towards the corner. Trickling along the end wall. Vigors tried to reverse. Boudreau instead on the near side from the hash marks. Backhands it into the corner. Boudreau comes up with the loose puck after it was chopped away. Vigors held up. No call coming. Puck out in front. Bonnet leaves it for Boudreau. Steven trying to avoid the body check and doing so. Bonnet near side. Trying to return the favor was Kevin Kubanik. But the puck just didn't find its way through. Off the near side dashers, and Steven has it at the blue line. Spun around, kept alive for Boudreau. He's pinned to the wall. Boudreau drops it for Steven on the near side circle. A wraparound attempt was denied either by the goaltender or the defender. Tough to tell from the broadcast booth. All the way here to the near side and wristed in. Ebersol, and we get a whistle. Or do we? Yes. Some words being exchanged there. Tommy Steven having a few things to say to Trevor Daly as both of them going off to the box.
Holy jumping, Darren. Holy jumping.
Neutral zone face-off, going to come just outside, or inside, I should say. Well, they're skating everywhere. I don't know. We'll see where it comes. There it is. They finally decided. Just outside the Maryville line here on the near side. Everybody was starting to set up over on the far side. The refs kind of waved them away. They got it all straightened out in the end. So matching penalties. Big open ice check there as MacArthur takes Watson down to the ice. Karinji in by the end boards as the crowd feels the energy. Shot turned aside. Karinji in the corner. Prexler lifts the stick and gets possession. There's a stick loose as Prexler has it in the high slot. He's checked from behind. Perry 1-on-2, tries to wrist it in. Now he's got a little bit of space. Shot right into the big M on Coffey's midsection. Karinji would have been off to the races. Instead, Perry gets a shot. Tried to go low on the big man. Nothing doing there as he's able to close down that gap. 1:04 left in this fairly open bit of hockey we've had here at 4-on-4. Check thrown in the corner as Tekmajian takes his man to the wall. Near circle, peeling back as Rowe. Straightaway point. Shot came in from Culleberg, and that's whistled wide. Now an odd man rush. 3-on-2 here for the Saints. Dropped on for Mudra. Mudra, Simpson calling for it. Score! Juliuson with the little tap in along the far wing. And it's 7-1. Jens Juliuson with his first goal of the game. 7 goals on the board and 7 goal scorers. Uh-oh. 14-14 the time of the goal. Still 4-on-4 for another 23 seconds. 4-on-3, I should say, as there's a tripping call going against SIUE.
Is that what it was? I just guessed. Did you go by what I said?
5:27 left in the period. It's trying to get everything kind of straightened out with the SIUE lineup.
You were given the wrong information by your colleagues.
So kneeing was actually the call, not tripping. Nevertheless, it's a 4-on-3 power play attack. Simpson has it. Near side for Boudreau. Skates into the circle. High slot for Simpson. Far circle for Prexler. Simpson got a bit of a soft pass there, but it did get through. Boudreau tapped towards goal by Figures, but just wide. Simpson keeps it alive. Second attempt, this time picked up. And now a breakaway attempt here for Watson. Shorthanded chance. Watson, glove save! Oh, baby, and coffee.
Look at those pads, folks.
Perhaps Watson drawn in by those red pads of coffee.
All right, talk about how tall he is. We're zooming in on him. Talk about how tall he is.
Nevertheless, it was a great opportunity, perhaps one that Watson needed to finish off given the context of the game. But all in all, a great save by the Saints goaltender. MacArthur comes up with the puck. We're on a 5-on-4 power play now. MacArthur takes it coast to coast, gets around Culleberg, goes all the way to the far side. Juliuson on the circle, Mudra. Now Karinji was denied as Culleberg stuck out the stick. Karinji to the circle, trying to put out in front. Mudra peels back from the corner. High slot, dropped it for MacArthur. Juliuson, MacArthur from straightaway, far side Karinji, circle to circle, and it was taken off the stick of Juliuson, off the other way. Skating in is Tucker from the near circle, shot, just not too much to be had there as Coffee just so big in net. So Coach Hogan getting a look at both of his first-year goaltenders here this evening. Only one goal allowed, and that one was just a bit of good fortune for the Cougars. But it'll be interesting to see what happens on Saturday. But you would have to figure that Aaron Romeril going to get the start against the Hawkeyes tomorrow evening. But nevertheless, a good opening game here to get a good look at both goaltenders, see what they got, get them a little bit of early ice action. It's back out in front. Boudreau was stopped. It might have even hit the mask, but it stayed out. We get a stoppage as Curie was able to cover up that loose puck. Kubanek takes a wrister. That one got just about 5 feet away from goal, but hit a skate and just died. Juliuson trying to reverse it. Gagan does the same. Juliuson lost the edge on the skate. Some fans thought it might have been a trip, but nobody really there in the vicinity for a defender. In behind the net, trying to put it out in front. They were looking for Gagan, but couldn't be connected on the Brandon Pruitt pass. Skating in on the offensive zone is Cole Ebersol. He'll carry all the way into the corner. Two Saints meet him there. He still comes away with the puck. Straightaway point. Henson to the far circle. That one rifled over the goal. Kept alive by Wagner at the blue line. Just avoids the stick of Zerline, but kept in by the Cougars along the far boards. Wrist shot in. Coffee nonchalantly grabs that one. And we'll get another stoppage in play. This one decided long ago, pretty much once the first or second goal went in the second period, but you have to give it to the Cougars. They haven't really given up in this game. They've tried to do their best it's just been a little less than the Saints have found in their tank. So a really solid way to start their home tenure for the Saints. Their home record wasn't all that great last year, but perhaps knowing that they were going to get this new facility played into their mind. Near side, it comes to Harrison. He puts it in front. Played back out by Dunville. MacArthur gets it at the blue line. Turner was calling for it. Dunville took the shot, went off a defensive stick, so the faceoff should stay in the attacking zone with exactly 2 minutes to play. Hope you're enjoying tonight's broadcast, no matter where in the world you're watching from. We promise we're going to get all the bugs worked out of the system. Eventually, Eric Skelton's going to join us on the broadcasts, not just the intermission reports. But it's been a good one to get things kicked off here this season for the Maryville Saints. Rolling puck along the near boards, another reverse play as it goes back and forth between end boards. And sidewalls, I should say, as this one will go the length of the ice. Icing called. Saints out shooting the Cougars 46-20. Now some people who are a little more familiar with the different divisions within the ACHA might sit there and say, well, this is technically a Division II opponent, so a Division I team should get a victory here, but Iowa's going to come in tomorrow, and technically they're a Division II opponent as well, but that's going to be no cakewalk. So you just never know with some of these things. I mean, you didn't know what kind of program Maryville was going to have coming in. You knew they had added a lot of good young talent, a lot of speed, but you never know how that's going to play out in terms of coming together, even though you had an entire summer this year compared to the 2 or 3 practices last year. As the Saints still looking for a little bit more, only some good defensive sticks denying them. And SIUE been around longer as a program, so this one was not really in the books before the puck was even dropped. In fact, a lot to be decided within this game, and you have to give credit to the Saints really in this one, as they have come out and really showed what they're made of, at least here in the first game, and we'll see whether or not that carries over into the weekend contests as well. 8 seconds left before the final horn goes. Cougars in possession. Pass through the neutral zone. Comes on for Simon as he's taken hard to the wall. As Hunter getting physical there at the end. But it'll be the Saints fans going home happy as they win their first game on home ice by the final of 7-1. An astonishing 7 goals scored. Even more impressive, 7 goal scorers on the stat sheet for the Saints. Everything got started way back in the first period with the first goal of the season coming off the stick of Kyle Dunville at 7:04 on the rebound. Then they would add 4 more goals in the second period, as it was going to be Tommy Stephen, Cole Mudra, Damian Karinji, and TJ Prexler all scoring. And then 2 goals here in the third as Jens Juliuson and Jared Vigors would add goals here in the third in reverse order. So that'll just about wrap it up for our broadcast here this evening. Remember to tune in tomorrow evening, as it'll be the Maryville Saints against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Puck drop on that one coming to you live from the Maryville University Hockey Center at 7:15 Central Standard Time. But for everybody here associated with the Saints program, for Drew, for Eric, I'm Todd Panula. Hope you enjoyed tonight's contest. Hope you join us again later on this weekend. Good night, everyone. Once again, the final, Saints win 7-1.